And now it's time to flirt with scariness, the unknown. No matter how identical the buildings are in an area like this, behind every door, behind every curtain, behind every window, lurks the chaos factor, and that is you. It's time to talk about personality. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that surely there are no rules to personality because we're all different. Wrong. That is the first rule. Personality fits into very clearly defined types.
Cause you've got personality, walk with personality, talk with personality, smile with personality, charm with personality, love with personality, and plus you got...
No matter how similar or different our homes, we'll always conspire to take our own peculiarly individual approach.
Be a fool for you, now over and over. What more can I do? Whoa, 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 whoa.
Take this, for example, two identical houses, but each with their own individual personality. Take here, for example. Now, just what sort of personality lives in this space? There's actually a very, very nice feeling of order in here, but not the kind of order that makes the space empty, because you've got a lot going on. The pictures, particularly, very eye-catching, very colourful. But they're contained, and it's this feeling of personality being exuberant, but at the same time contained. In fact, the whole thing feels terribly grown up, terribly controlled. There are little touches of femininity and almost childlike naivety with the little shrine made of the television and the little shell chandelier. But these are small statements in a space that is largely controlled, serene and tranquil.
Well, I suppose I like a certain sense of order and things to be quite simple. And a calm environment, definitely a feeling of calm. And I think sometimes clutter makes you feel more sort of wound up. Say if you've had a busy day outside, you come in, you just want it to be really simple and easy to look after. It's funny because I thought when I moved here that I'd want to have some colour down here, but I just, more and more I just said, no, it just seemed right to keep it white and simple. And I think any colour closes a room, even if it's a sort of light, pale colour, I just think it brings it in more, so I just wanted to keep it as spacious as possible.
Cool, and a great use of space. This is Iroko Housing Cooperative, affordable housing on the South Bank. And when the architects sat down to design the scheme, obviously they wanted to maximise light, increase the feeling of space. But when they were at their drawing board, I bet they'd never anticipated this. In this room, it just seems so inappropriate to use sentences. You just want to make a list of words like eclectic and organic and easygoing. It's a magpie's nest, and it's glittery things that have caught the occupier's eye, and it's just all put together without any kind of control, without any kind of underpinning, without any pretense at order. It's affable, it's friendly, it's a nightmare to find anything. But you feel you know the people that live here very well. They're going to talk about anything under the sun, everything under the sun, probably at the same time.
I mean, when I first moved into my very first flat, it was wonderfully minimal. Table, vase, twigs, you know, sort of a very trendy parrot in the corner. I was like, it was all reflective of trends and not really who I was. What I wanted and I liked to live in to create a sort of peaceful atmosphere, but that was also about me wanting to create some kind of impression. At that time it was on girls, obviously, but now this reflects a life, and so much has gone on that yes, then I would have felt this would be cluttered, but now I just love it, because everywhere I look there's something that pops out at me, and I like that. We're both creatures of theatre, we both work in theatre. Lizzie, my wife, loves that whole sort of bordello feel. They're just slightly seedy, and so we thought, well, with gold walls and red carpets. I think photographic history we like as well, and paintings, and Lizzie likes a lot of scarves and materials. She's very into materials. And so, yeah, it does. It's a real reflection of both of us.
See what I mean? Same flat, but a completely different take on taste. It comes down to personalising your background, making it a mirror to reflect your personality. Sure, a good interior designer can do it for you, but actually it's so much better if you do it for yourself. All you need to do is work out what you want.
One of the most exciting things about my job in particular is going in and working out what people's personalities are like and what kind of style they might like. And I picked that up from what mugs they've got, if they've got little cuddly animals on the mugs, or whether they've got just stripy mugs or plain mugs. And I always ask them whether they chose the mugs or whether somebody gave them to them. And their response will tell you such a lot, because if they say, oh, I love those mugs, I got those in, you know they love cuddly things. They'll want lots of detail in their interior design. Hairstyles, you can tell a lot from hairstyles. They've got a terribly neat hairstyle. Adventurous hairstyle will tell you that they're happy to experiment with their interiors and have fun with it as well. Clothing's a really good giveaway. It will tell you an awful lot about them, whether they follow fashions very strictly, which means they're likely to change their interiors quite a lot, or whether they have an individual style. That will show you that they'll have quite an eclectic mix of stuff in their home. Lots and lots of things give it away.
So you see, we're all the same. Our houses are littered with hints and tips and clues, sharing with the world what we like and what we don't like, from the cups we drink out of, to our egg cups, our colour choice, the books we might leave casually lying around for all to see. All of these things express personality. But over to the guinea pig house. What personality is there to be uncovered? Actually, I really hope there is a personality there to be uncovered.
Of course there is. Now, if you've been watching this series, you'll know that in every show we apply the rules of colour, lighting and pattern, or, say in this case, personality, to one space. In this room, it's personality that seems to be lacking, which is a bit of a task, really.
Welcome to a room without personality. A blank canvas, an interior decorator's dream, and a psychologist's nightmare. Broadly speaking, there are only a handful of personality types, but more of that later. To find a personality for this room, I'm going to have to turn private detective. Where to start? Oh, bedroom. Bedroom, come. Now, oh, there's no one in here, good. Something about people's bedrooms. If they're quite contained, if they're quite kind of reserved downstairs, in the bedroom, they completely let their personality out. And in here, I'm saying that, okay, there's a lot of coordination, there's a lot of tidiness, a lot of restraint, a lot of self-control. I mean, look at the colour scheme, the walls, the bed linen, the floor, the rug, the curtains, even the art matches almost exactly. And in fact, the art is very interesting, very graphic, very linear, although of a romantic subject. And there is an element of romance in here. The country pine bedhead, the rustic painted floorboards, and the curtains. So, in personality terms, we're looking at someone who's quite graphic, who's quite restrained, who's quite in charge, but with a little bit of romanticism. So that'll be graphic romanticism or romantic graphicism. You decide.
Behind every door is a personality fitting into a set of types. Those who want order, those who can cope with clutter, the confident and hard-hearted, the conscientious and the creative.
I mean, yes, of course I realise that we're all completely different. But there are similarities in our differences. And I think those similarities lead to a shortlist of about 5 or 6 basic fundamental personality types. But that's only a shortlist, because actually, right at the top of the tree are 2 fundamental mindsets.
And that's light and dark, introvert or extrovert.
The extroverted personality type is outgoing, sociable, and it's linked also to thrill-seeking. And that risk-taking element can be found also in perhaps what they do with their homes. So they may be inclined to try bold and exciting colour schemes. They like to have lots of things around them. It's associated to some extent with finding clutter, not necessarily ordered clutter, but just a lot of things to look at, a lot of things creating stimulation in the environment around them. The introvert is at the opposite end of the scale from the extrovert, and the difference between introverts and extroverts is to be found not just psychologically but biologically as well. They have different types of nervous system. The introvert is less tolerant of physical stimulation, so they will tend to shy away from bold reds and oranges and yellows and prefer cooler blues and greens. There will be an attempt to organise furnishings around the edge of the room to create greater space in the middle, rather than filling that space up with coffee tables or rugs that have got very full, bold patterns on them. The idea being that they prefer more space and more distance between themselves and others.
So what do you want? Stark minimalism? Order and control? Or dark corners, romanticism, nooks, crannies, and something you can't quite see round the corner? But what happens if you're designing for someone quite unknown to you, the non-existent personality?
This kind of thing is a fascinating interior design exercise. Huge spend, but no client. It's a show home. And it's a way of trying to find a purchaser willing to spend £1 million and bringing them in, saying, yes, you can live here. This